Welcome back to the Schmotable Schmoes. I am Shake and Bake here with Divock, Rain Man, the crew as always. And guys, it happened again this weekend. One of the last weekends in February, weekends in March. As always, the NFL Combine, the Underwear Olympics happened. And guys, I have to just be honest. Yeah, actually, Divock and I met right around draft time last year. And he knows I love the NFL draft, but God, I fucking hate the NFL Combine.
Do you? Do you know?
And this is just 2 weeks in a two tables in a row that we're just bringing stuff that's just kind of pissed me off. So I'm glad I can get there and vent with you guys. But before we get into it, I guess how do you guys feel about the Underwear Olympics? Like, what do you associate it with, really?
I mean, I don't give a shit about the NFL Combine. I mean, it was cool, I guess, that John Ross guy ran a 4.22. What did he have to do? How fast did he have to run to get an island?
Under a 4.24.
Yeah.
He had to beat Chris Johnson's time.
He did beat Chris Johnson's time.
But he wasn't wearing Adidas.
Wait, but why does he get an island? What's going on?
No island.
Why?
He had to wear the Adidas shoes.
Oh, he had to wear the Adidas shoes. So then there was no chance of him getting a 4.22.
Exactly.
Okay.
So for those of you listening in who aren't aware, Adidas offered anyone who broke Chris Johnson's combine record of a 40-yard dash of a 4.24 or lower would receive an island if they were wearing Adidas shoes while running this 40. And John Ross did it, but he wore Nikes.
Mm-hmm.
He signed with Nike.
His reasoning, and just got a huge contract with Nike. And he said his reasoning that he wore Nike instead of Adidas, knowing he could break the record, was because he doesn't have a boat and he can't really swim, so he didn't need an island.
Good man. Swimming sucks. Swimming is for fish and Michael Phelps. Normal people don't
Ryan
swim.
Lochte, America's hero.
But
so I'm scrolling through Facebook as I do, in the morning as I'm on my way to work and waking up. And I see, or I guess this was Sunday morning, actually. So getting through my hangover and scrolling through Facebook, either way. Mm-hmm. And I just see, all these different, websites, everything from sporting websites that I follow on Facebook to comedy to douchey websites that I follow. And they all are just saying John Ross has hilarious response to not wearing Adidas to break the 40 time record. I was like, oh my God, please let the quote be that he said Adidas wouldn't let me break the record, or I didn't want to be slow, so I wore Nike. Just something that just shits on Adidas, because I'm not a fan of Adidas either. And I think Adidas, except for Dustin Johnson currently, Adidas is the brand of losers. And I just was so ready. And then when he was like, I just because he kind of stumbles through because he's a little out of breath when he's talking to Michael Irvin. And I just was so disappointed when he said, I can't really swim and I don't own a boat, because I didn't want to be slow, so I didn't wear Adidas.
Well, he's being real, though.
He is being real.
He's being real. He can't swim if he doesn't own a boat. So
that's fair.
Well, now with all that Nike money,
that's fair.
He could buy a boat now with all that Nike money.
God, that's for damn sure.
Go ahead, Raymond.
Fun fact: Adidas actually had a chance to sign Michael Jordan, but their actual German executives said they wanted a center, and so instead of going with Michael Jordan, they went after centers and clearly lost the battle.
Did they get Sam Bowie?
Looks like they did.
Yeah, too bad. So Raymond, what do you think of the NFL Combine? I don't care about the NFL Combine. I think when I think of the NFL Combine, I think of how Vernon Gholston got drafted 5th overall or whatever because of his combine.
Yeah,
and
top 5 to the Jets.
Top 5 to the Jets, and was he played 2 seasons.
Yeah,
he was didn't know how to play football.
Bad. He was bad.
So Raymond, what do you think? Raymond.
No, well, Raymond's going to ignore us.
Raymond is left speechless by the combine.
Sorry, no, I mean, so I love stats, I love measurables, I love all the things that go into the combine, but I don't think that the way they showcase it it's good for ratings. It's not good for actually showcasing who's going to be a talented football player. Mm-hmm. And I think that, the data that they have, a 40-yard dash only tells you so much. You need the 10-yard splits. You need the flying 20. You need the measure. You need the drills that aren't necessarily as flashy to showcase who's going to actually be a good player. Like, Darius Hayward-Bay killed the 40-yard dash time, but obviously he's one of the least successful wide receivers out of that draft. So,
yeah. Yeah, see, Raymond, this surprises me because for me, like, the NFL Combine is something I imagine you, like, jerking off to. Like, that's the type of shit, like, I feel like
if I had access to all of the information, like, and all the drills, and they showcased all the stuff, sure. But they mostly showcased the 40-yard dash, the bench press, all the stuff. Like, Mike Mamula killed that stuff, and he was an Eagles draftee. But look at how he turned out.
What did you just say?
Mike Mamula. He's a workout warrior.
Mike Mamula.
Deepak, did you miss Mike Mamula? He is so Mike Mamula is the reason that the NFL Combine is so important to people, but you have to be wary of it at the same time, which is part of the reason I hate it. So Mike Mamula was a defensive end from Boston College in the same draft as Derek Brooks and Warren Sapp. And the Eagles had a chance to get Warren Sapp, but Mike Mamula just blew away the combine. Like 35 reps on the bench, like a 4.6 40, which was, like, just incredible. And all these drills were so great. And he had, his glutes were activated, and he had good hip depth when he dropped into his coverage. So blah, 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 bullshit. Right. And so the Eagles took him before they took Warren Sapp, because while Warren Sapp was obviously the better football player based on his tape, Warren Sapp smoked pot once and admitted it, so his draft stock fell. Right. And guess who's in the Hall of Fame and guess who isn't?
Yeah, the pot smoker.
It's not Mike Mamula.
The weed smoker?
Yeah, it's the guy with the ganj. And I just, like, that's one of the reasons that I hate the Combine, is because people put so much stock into it for nothing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people look at game tape and it's like, oh, well, that guy's not a football player, or not a good football player. He's like a 6th-round draft pick, and he has a great combine. All of a sudden, he's a 1st-round draft pick. Same thing, guy who's, look at a guy who, like, right now is a good example and, comes from my own bias, Jonathan Allen. The guy, the defensive end from Alabama, Nagurski winner, every defensive freaking award you want, or Lombardi Trophy winner, not Nagurski, but either way. And, has an average combine compared to the rest of the position group that he's in, which is defensive ends. And all of a sudden, he's going to be like the 15th pick in the draft instead of the top, maybe the number 1 overall to top 3 pick. And I was just like,
whoa. There was no chance Myles Garrett wasn't going number 1.
Well, yeah, obviously. That's a given now, especially, Myles Garrett would go number 1. But the fact is, like, Jonathan Allen was in the conversation for being a top pick. He was in the conversation for the top 3 of the top 5, probably not falling past like 8. And all of a sudden, because he didn't impress at the Combine, he's going to, fall to the bottom of the 1st round because he's not going to be an effective football player despite everything that him with pads on says. And it's disgusting because this happens to someone every year. This is an example of it happening personally close to me, but shit like this happens every year. Some kid who runs like a 4.3, a Darius Hayward-Bay happens every year. He goes in the top 8. He sucks. Someone's pissed off because they were like, damn, he was just really fast in a straight line with no pads on. Turns out when I turned on the game tape, he couldn't catch a football to save his life. I should have taken the 290-pound defensive end who only did 20 reps of 225 without pads on, because that meant way more than the 14 sacks he had this past year. Like, just give me a fucking break.
You know who I think of when I think of how meaningless the Combine is? I think of Anquan Bolden.
There you go. There's a great example.
Anquan Bolden doesn't run fast. His size is average. He doesn't jump off the screen in terms of his physical attributes.
Yeah, he's thick. He's a thick wide receiver.
Yeah, he's 6'1". he's a thick wide receiver. He's a great route runner. He's got the things you can't measure in the combine. And now he's playing, 15, 16 years?
Yeah.
He's a mean motherfucker. He is a mean motherfucker.
Yeah. And it's Divock. It's also that you look at guys who don't do well at the combine, but still like they're look at I think a great example of guys who don't do great at the combine but still go too high, as circling back to my own personal bias, is a guy like Trent Richardson. I was talking to Rain Man about this beforehand. Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson were both supposed to be their first running back taken in their drafts. But Mark Ingram fell to the 28th pick or whatever, and Trent Richardson was the 3rd overall pick. Right. If you look at their combines, they're about the same, except for a couple stats that showed Mark Ingram was going to have more burst than Trent Richardson, but people just kept looking at Trent Richardson as this could do no wrong that he couldn't miss. But look whose career is doing where. It's just more things where like the combine doesn't tell me anything. There are a couple stats that are helpful and per position, but overall, what does it what does it really give you when you're doing all this stuff with it even without pads on?
So shake and bake. Oh, go ahead.
My favorite example of why the combine doesn't matter is Jerry Rice. 4.71 40-yard dash. 4.71. Can you imagine?
Defensive ends are running that. That is now like a slow time for a defensive end.
That's a snail.
Myles Garrett beat that. Wow. By a decent margin. So, but the most important attribute of his 40 was his flying 20, the last 20 where you get that separation in your route. And that's where he excelled. And he had one of the fastest flying 20s. I don't know because they don't publicly disclose that. That's kind of what I've gotten from it. But, that's the important information that they're not showcasing to the public, but that's what teams have access to. And that's why the combine's important. But I wish they would showcase that information to the public, although the public might not care. They only care about the bench press, the 40-yard dash times that, they don't actually care about the important measurable.
They care because sex sells. They care about the sexy drills.
Yeah, the underwear Olympics.
It all leads back to sex at the end of the day.
It does.
Yeah.
No, Divock, you had something to say?
Yeah, so Shake and Bake is our resident NFL draft guru. What are you looking at? You're drafting. You're in the green room. What are you looking at?
So I'm looking at for running backs and defensive ends and linebackers, things like that. It's 10-yard splits, because maybe running backs are, but for the most part, you're not running 40 yards in a straight line ever at any point. And if you are, and if you're a defensive player and you're probably not catching whoever's in front of you. Yeah. The other thing is, and then for running backs, that's like burst through the hole. That shows me that I have 10 yards to get up the field and into the second level. And if I can do that successfully to beat guys through and, get first down, get close to first down yardage, then boom, that's good success. But there are plenty of running backs. There are plenty of wide receivers, anyone like that who can have a crappy 40 time, a crappy bench press, and either excel in these pass catching drills. People are like, oh, well, his 40 time wasn't good. He didn't drop a ball. All of his routes were perfect and he wasn't wearing pads, so it doesn't really matter. But his 40 time was bad, so he's probably a second round pick. Mm-hmm. I don't get it. Or things like, what was I just thinking of? If one more goddamn person tells me that a defensive end's hips were too tight when he was dropping back into coverage, I'm going to fucking throw a fit. Dude. Yes, we live in the age of the multiple D and teams that run 3-4 and 4-3s where defensive ends have to play both. But god damn it, if someone ever tells me one more time that a 285-pound defensive end's hips are too tight to cover a wide receiver, I'm gonna go nuts. When is that guy ever gonna cover a wide receiver? Unless it's just a dummy play.
Yeah, he's gonna they have a shallow zone. That's about it. And
exactly.
They don't actually have to chase after them or anything. They just have to make sure their zone's covered.
In NFL blitz, wide receivers and linebackers got matched up a lot.
That's fair. Linebackers are different than defensive ends, are they not?
In NFL blitz, I think they're all the same.
No, well, that's fair.
Yeah.
No.
They are, and you can tackle wide receivers before they get into the route.
That's true.
Oh, I mean, that's
true. That's given.
That's given.
But yeah, it's just stuff like that where it's it's just so ticky tack. It's so much people wanting to like find athletes. And another thing that really grinds my gears.
Oh boy.
As much as he's fun to watch, everyone's sucking Jabril Peppers' dick over the combine.
Yeah.
He literally said it's so much money should go to his PR guy because his PR team is so fucking smart and his agent are so goddamn smart. Let's tell him to say that he's a defensive back, but make him work out with all the linebackers so he's significantly more athletic than anyone else. Like, I could have told you that Jabril Peppers was a great athlete. Doesn't take anyone with a college degree to tell you that. But let's let him work out with the linebackers so that he's so much faster. His 40 time stands out so much more. But if he worked out with the defensive backs, he'd just look kind of more like the rest of them.
Right.
Just like, dude, he even said at the combine, I'm a safety. I'm going to play safety. I'm not playing linebacker. Well, yeah, no shit. You're 205 pounds.
Yeah.
It's stuff like this and the nuances of it and, the strategically placing your guys and just it's the ticky-tack, nitpicky crap that ends up screwing a lot of teams and it's why a lot of teams are looking like the Cleveland Browns.
You know who pays attention to none of this?
Who?
The New England Patriots.
Nope.
They do not give a shit about
the only time Bill Belichick is at this event, but he's not watching any of these 40s and shit like that. He's watching. I'm sure he gets the numbers. I'm sure he takes a look, but he is looking at all those. He's looking for his Jamie Collins kind of guys.
I'll bet you the Patriots already know who they're drafting.
Oh yeah, they already know. They've watched the tape. They've seen these guys who can jump out of the gym and be scheme versatile. Because the Patriots are, as far as I'm concerned, the guys who run the multi-D better than anyone. Like Dante Hightower moves from middle linebacker to pass rushing outside linebacker like it's nobody's business. Yep. And they're the only guys who do this really effectively. The Ravens do too. But at the same time, not like the Patriots who just plug and play guys. Like it's they find the Jamie Collins in every draft if they want, and then they replace him with the next Jamie Collins and trade your ass to Cleveland because he missed a meeting.
Don't miss meeting Joe Nipper Brown. Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good threat.
The harshest of harsh punishments.
I mean, I think the Patriots sent a pretty strong message about how they feel about great athletes who miss meetings.
That's basically being sent to a Russian gulag.
Yeah,
that's the equivalent.
Yeah, it's probably worse, but apples and oranges.
Yeah.
I want to get to something.
Apples and oranges, both fruit.
Yeah, I want to get to something that's pressing on my mind as a Chicago Bears fan.
Okay, please do.
And you probably already know where I'm going with this.
Mike
Glennon. As a Chicago Bears fan, we are about to hand over $14-15 million a year to Mike Glennon.
Yep, Mike Glennon.
This is actually happening.
But it's not Jay Cutler, so it's fine, right?
It's not Jay Cutler. It's Mike. Brock Osweiler is laughing his ass off right now.
It's 19 touchdowns to 9 interceptions and 2 years ago in his last starting season. It's potential efficiency.
Gumby. Mike Glennon looks like Gumby.
He has no mobility at all.
No, I mean, a lot of guys don't, but like, it's Mike Glennon, and
he's less mobile than Peyton Manning. He's less mobile. I mean, I know you don't care about that, but he's just.
If the dude can throw the football, if he can throw the football like Peyton Manning, that's fine with me.
Right, but he can't.
He cannot.
Yeah,
especially without Alshon, and you're losing Alshon, which makes it even worse. And now Kevin White is your number one.
Right, he'll be good. He'll be good for a game before he gets hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So we're actually handing over that kind of money to a backup quarterback.
But I mean, dude, if you guys just wise up and draft Johnny Allen at 3, then you'll have your next great Bears defensive player, and it won't be either Mitch Trubisky or one of the like Ohio State cornerbacks whose legs don't work anymore.
Ooh, wow!
I mean, have you all seen,
Marshawn
do you guys well, Marshawn Lattimore hurt himself, but like ran a sick 40. That's all well and good. Have you guys seen? Do you guys look at mock drafts as much as I do? Do you kind of hunt them down? Because I do.
Yes.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
I do that all day.
Raymond,
I prefer real drafts.
That's fair, and that's totally fair.
Yep.
Have you seen that Malik Hooker, who is literally injured in 3 different places on his body right now, isn't at the combine, can't be at the combine because he's basically sucking paste out of a straw in his bed in his hospital, is a top 5 pick everywhere.
Yeah.
Not only is Malik Hooker sucking paste out of a tube because he can't get out of his hospital bed because of how many surgeries he's had this offseason, he started 1 year at Ohio State. It was a very good year. He played really, really well. He's really athletic. But, dude, are you going to waste a top 7 pick on a guy sucking paste out of a tube in his hospital bed for an entire offseason with 1 collegiate season under his belt? No. I wouldn't.
The risk
I mean,
way
everyone has him going to San Diego because he can replace Eric Weddle, blah, blah, blah. If I'm San Diego, that's just like I'm not doing that. Now, if you're talking about
Angeles?
Los Angeles.
I have more
San
to say
Diego
about this, and there's a proper medium called the Schmo Zone. I can really explain it on through my keyboard and rather than this podcast. But wow, it's very frustrating.
Los Angeles, San Diego. How many times are we gonna do that?
Shit, you're right. San Diego, Los
There
Angeles.
it is. Yeah,
there we go.
We just realized it.
Yep. Okay. 25 years of the San Diego Superchargers, man. I'm grasping at straws here. Okay.
I'll be calling San Diego for at least 5 more years.
Oh yeah.
Before I realize.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because they're not even the real Los Angeles team.
No. No one in Los Angeles wants them, and no one wants them at all anymore. San Diego's given up on them. Los Angeles doesn't want them. Dean Spanos is crazy.
Well, I mean, San Diego wants them to stay, but they aren't going to. So now they're doing the LeBron jersey burning shit. So
No, that's what I mean. Like they're gone. So like they're like, fuck this. We're not going to be your fans anymore from San Diego.
Don't blame them one bit now.
I don't either. They deserve to.
Guys, that's all I have on. Now we get to the fun part of the NFL draft where we actually get closer to the draft and we actually see, we get to watch Mel Kiper and Todd McShay just yell at each other until one of them's right and one of them's wrong. Then they probably both end up being wrong, and that's the fun part.
Yeah.
And you get to scream.
That's what you get
it's
off
also the fun time of year where everyone's a draft analyst and everyone knows what they're talking about. It's fun. I love it. It's great.
Always people know what they're talking about.
They
know who the best, like the biggest edge is, where the biggest edge is, and who each person should draft and stuff like that. It's a couch front office.
Oh yeah, I love
the Bears. You know the Bears shouldn't draft a wide receiver because he would end up sucking. That's all.
Or injured.
Sucking. Injured.
As long as it's after the first round, you guys should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's not the first round, right?
Yeah. So see, there's still hope.
There's a little bit of hope, but not that much hope.
I mean, but you're getting rid of Smoke and Jay. Like, we'll be fine.
Well, I still remember the times before Smoke and
Jay. With Brian or Kyle Orton. Brian
Orton with Rex Grossman.
Sexy Rexy.
Took us to Super Bowl.
What a guy. What a Super Bowl that was. Sorry, that was really mean. I haven't even seen one in my lifetime. That's really mean.
That is mean. Yeah, you haven't even seen a playoff victory.
Shut up.
Let alone.
Not going to go
all you've seen is jail time and a lot of Marvin Lewis.
Yeah.
A
lot of Marvin Lewis. Wait, you mean we didn't win the game, face?
He's still trying to figure out how Vontaze Burfict.
You mean the adjustments I didn't make at halftime still didn't work? Yes, Marvin. You have to coach in the game too. Oh, that's what that face is. Oh, wow.
That guy has I cannot believe that guy's still the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals.
I mean, I can't believe Mike Brown's still alive, but hey, he is.
Mike Brown's still alive?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Paul Brown's son is still the acting GM and owner, and hasn't stepped down or hired a GM or done anything smart besides actually Marvin Lewis. I would totally be okay as a Bengals fan with keeping Marvin Lewis on as a GM because he actually drafts really well. He puts together him and the Bengals front office that isn't Mike Brown generally put together a really good draft plan. Duke Tobin, the head of player personnel, great guy. Really would hate to lose him ever, but I needed Hugh Jackson. I didn't get Hugh Jackson, but now I need just something else, something that isn't Marvin trolling the sidelines with a headset on.
Okay, fair enough.
Unless he's coaching if he goes back to defensive coordinator, that'd be fine too. God, he was a great defensive coordinator.
Hey, are you all right there, shaking back?
Yeah, sorry.
I'm just reveling in the good times.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about how much better my life would be if I just ran the entire Bengals organization. Sorry, I'm couch coaching again.
We all think that.
Yeah.
I mean, the White Sox would have won 10 straight World Series if
Joey and Mike Trout would already be Reds by now. It's ridiculous. Chris Sale wouldn't be a Red. Chris Sale wouldn't need the whole Red Sox name attached to his.
Mike Trout.
Reds.
Mike Trout, the White Sox, the pick before Mike Trout, they picked another outfielder by the name of Jared Mitchell.
How's his career going?
The pick before Mike Trout.
Hey,
Jared Mitchell. We're still awaiting Jared Mitchell's debut.
Do you know who was the pick before Tom Brady?
I should know this, but I don't. Who was the pick before Tom Brady?
Cincinnati Bengals, Neil Rackers.
Oh, Rackers.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, out of the University of Illinois.
Oh yeah.
Neil Rackers.
Obviously, if Tom Brady had been a Bengal, he would have never been successful, and we'd be talking about like the New York Jets dynasty instead of the New England Patriots dynasty or something crazy that doesn't make sense. But just what could have been, maybe, probably not.
Could have been.
Probably not.
Probably not at all.
Seems unlikely, but a boy can dream. Speaking of dreaming,
did you guys see that Bill Polian said they had a first-round grade on Tom Brady?
Well, Bill Polian is a genius, and I would give most of my left testicle to have him as the Bengals GM. Actually,
yeah, but
snag that. I'll give them most of my right testicle because that's the good one, and I really want him.
I mean,
I would kill for Bill Polian as my GM. Absolutely commit murder, do terrible things. Yeah, anything.
He's a brilliant dude. He's a brilliant guy.
Brilliant. And ESPN is just wasting his talent. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Anything else we want to hit on?
I'm ranted out. I'm ready for bed. What are you guys gonna do tonight?
I got some Wizard Sons to watch.
Oh.
It's the gambling degenerate special.
Oh. Wizards are fun to watch.
Those are. There's nothing like West Coast basketball, Western gambling degenerate.
Oh yeah.
Staying up late to watch some Suns Wizards in Phoenix. I love it. That's the type of stuff that I just live for.
Great. That's why we will rematch you, Divock.
Rayman, there's a lot of 3-pointers in this game.
I know there are.
If that kind of lots of points. Actually, there aren't that many 3-pointers.
Yeah.
The Suns have 11. That's a decent amount.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, I mean, the Suns. I won't even go into the 3-pointers because I could go on forever.
Leave the 3-pointers to the next. Leave the 3-point stats to the next show table, okay?
I know.
Put the McAdoo play card away.
But we should be remiss if we didn't.
I'm going to be dreaming of getting Brandon Cooks, Terrell Pryor, and hopefully Leonard Fournette for the Eagles.
Christ almighty. Okay, it's time to go. That's all I can handle.
I think we'd be remiss, though, if we didn't mention Russell Westbrook tonight.
You're right. 58 in a loss from a man, Russ. 58
in a loss. Another one.
Loss to Portland. To fucking Portland.
It's sad that they lost, but, he's just a monster. He's a monster.
He is a monster. There's no denying
He's an animal. He's an animal.
No. That is Kenneth
Fareed. Stop stealing nicknames, Rain Man.
Can't just put nicknames where you want them, Rain Man.
Do it.
Fuck.
Who are you gonna call him next? The Great One?
No.
What are you gonna call him next? You steal nicknames?
King George.
What, is he going to be Mr. Hockey next? Jesus.
Oh, oh man.
All right.
Oh, man. All right.
Schmo's out.
Smells out.
See you guys.
Peace.